Hello, all of you. So here is a quick concept. There were two, three students all asking me the same doubt in a single day. I said, okay, if this is a confusion of two, three, this might be a confusion of 20 others. And it's a very important concept called as in house property. How much interest on loan is allowed in default tax regime, 115 BAC and normal tax regime, right? So quickly, I'm sharing with all of you our Sarthi compiler's poster. Check with me on screen. Interest on loan. I hope all of you know in house property, GAV, less municipal taxes, NAV, 30% standard deduction, and interest on loan. In short, only three expenses are allowed. That is municipal tax, standard deduction, 30% on the NAV, and interest on loan. Okay, to compute income from house property. This concept is super duper important for your case scenario, for your MCQs, and for solving question and answer. Okay, so don't do any mistake anywhere. Chalo. Let us now quickly see in case of interest on loan. First thing we should know that interest on loan is allowed on due basis. Our financial year is 24-25 and interest is due but not paid till 31st March 25. Still interest on the housing loan which you have taken is allowed as expenditure, whereas municipal tax is allowed on payment basis. See, the way you all are studying, you are working hard, but there has to be little depth to score 85 plus marks in DT. डरना नहीं है, बिल्कुल क्लियर है, नोट्स लिखो, कोई भी डाउट है तो यू कैन मैसेज मी. Municipal tax is allowed on payment basis. Interest on loan is allowed on due basis. Okay. In case of let out and deem let out, full interest is allowed without any upper limit. Whether you have paid 8 lakh interest or 15 lakh interest, for this financial year, whatever is interest is fully allowed. Now coming to self-occupied property, this flowchart is for the old tax rate or when you opt out of the default tax regime. When you opt out of the default tax regime, right, then self-occupied, if you have taken the loan after 1499 for purchase and construction is completed in 5 years, then interest on loan is allowed maximum up to 2 lakhs. In case of self-occupied property, we all know GAV, NAV is nil and a loan interest is allowed. So there's always a loss. But today also, if you have taken the loan for repairs or you have taken the loan before 1499, then maximum interest allowed is only 30,000. Is this clear to all of you? Self-occupied property, if you have taken the loan for purchase and construction, 2 lakh. If you have taken the loan for repairs and renovation, today also 30,000. If you have taken loan after 1499, construction completed in 5 years, 2 lakh. If loan is taken before 1499, only 30,000. To twist, they will give 33,000 interest and the loan is taken in 1495. Then interest is going to be allowed only 30,000. But this is the case if you have opted out of default tax regime. If you are still in the default tax regime, self-occupied property, no interest on loan is allowed. I'm repeating, if you're filing the return in 115 BAC, default tax regime, no interest is allowed at all in self-occupied property. Let out, leave let out, दोनों case में full interest is allowed. But default tax regime, no interest. Here, how much interest? 2 lakh. Now listen, nowhere they have given clearly, but while solving the problems, that combination, 2, 3 self-occupied property, 2 lakh is the upper limit for 2 self-occupied property. Beyond that, the third property will be deemed let out. But for two self-occupied property, current year's interest, pre-construction interest, which is allowed 1/5 every year, all put together, the limit is 2 lakh. I'm repeating, if you have two self-occupied property, ma'am, iska 2 lakh nahi milta. Total 2 lakh is allowed if you take the loan for construction or after this date. If you take loan before this or if you take it today also for repairs, this is allowed. Please note it down, and if you want more such flowcharts and clarity, make sure you order this compiler. Okay? Link and all is there. Whenever you have doubt, please ask me. So many students, if they are asking in WhatsApp, definitely I'll come up with a doubt clearing video for costing and this. Okay, one more thing, which anyhow separately also I'll take one class for normal, or you can say old regime and default tax regime. Self-occupied property in the old regime, interest is allowed 2 lakh. If you take it for construction or purchase, for repairs 30,000. For default tax regime, no interest is allowed. For let out property, even for deemed let out, full interest is allowed. This is a very important part of examination, because after 5 heads, set off is the 6th head. So loss of house property can be set off. See, if there is a self-occupied property and if you're showing loss, है ना, up to 2 lakh loss can be set off with other heads, salary, business head, other heads. When there is net loss in house property, kuch bhi, let out, deemed let out, self-occupied, loss can be set off with other heads up to 2 lakh. Ma'am, if there is 3,20,000 loss, 2 lakh you set off with salary and business head, 1,20,000 you carry forward. But if you are filing your return in default tax regime, you cannot set off house property loss with other heads. Whatever is house property loss, write it in the inner column and set off next year also in the house property. In default tax regime, self-occupied, no interest is allowed. Let out, full interest is allowed. But if there is a loss, you cannot set off the loss with other heads. Whereas here, loss can be set off with other heads up to 2 lakh. You want to take a screenshot, note it down, and score super duper marks in exam. You all are hardworking, you all are learning good, but there has to be a lot of linking up and little depth in learning. If you feel your concept of interest on loan is clear with this 2 flowchart and explanation, comment below. That motivates me to come up with more doubt clearing session. Always willing to help all of you, right? And if it is clear, make sure you like, share, subscribe, because most of my classes are live only. Coming up soon is one shot revision video. Share it with others also, right? Thank you so much. Bye bye, all of you.